You want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored. Okay, I'm so sick of these.
A lot of bitches in the game don't want shit, right? A lot of bitches reach for low-hanging fruit. And some of that low-hanging fruit look good. Feel good, smell good, sound good, all that, right? And they think they doing something with this. But at the end of the day, it's still low-hanging fruit. And what they don't think about is that there's something higher to reach for. There's something greater to reach for. There's something greater in you that you're not manifesting in order to have greater shit out of life, right? So, you know, this is one reason why a lot of bitches won't never, you know, reach their potential and won't never know what it feels like to really f with a pimp. See, the reality is, a motherfucker like myself, I'm scary to a lot of the bitches in the game. 95% of the bitches, if not more, in the game are scared of the idea of fucking with somebody who fits my description. You know what I mean? Because guess what? Freeze ain't gonna smoke with you. Freeze ain't gonna pop no pills with you. Freeze ain't gonna sip no lean with you. Freeze ain't gonna get drunk with you. Freeze ain't gonna be broke with you and fuck on you. When no money is, you know, we not producing anything, we not building anything, we just Freeze is not gonna engage in that type of activity with you, right? Like most of these motherfuckers that call themselves pimps. Right? So off top, Freeze is boring. I'm scared to fuck with Freeze because Freeze boring. Not knowing that it's a whole bunch of other ways to have fun. It's a whole bunch of other ways that Freeze like to have fun. You know what I mean? That don't involve substance abuse. At the same time, Freeze ain't gonna pull up to McDonald's and allow you to eat some bullshit out of there. Freeze ain't gonna eat it with you. Freeze ain't gonna eat no pizza with you. You know what I mean? Freeze ain't gonna eat a bunch of, you know, bullshit, processed, weak-ass food with you. You know what I mean? And at the same time, if you did slip through the cracks and with Freeze, Freeze might take you to a fancy restaurant and you're gonna turn your nose up at it. But you're gonna be excited to go to McDonald's though. You're gonna love going through that Wendy's drive-thru or that Popeyes drive-thru. You know what I mean? You love that type of shit. But, you know, a 5-star restaurant, a Mastro's or a Lawry's or Morton Steakhouse or some shit like that, you're gonna turn your nose up at it. You're gonna act like you too good for that type of shit. When in reality, you know that you're not good enough for that type of shit. So to make yourself look bigger than what you are, you'll turn your nose up at that type of shit. Like it's not, like it don't measure up to you. When you'll go through a drive-thru in a heartbeat and put some bullshit in your body. Some shit that if you sit it on the motherfucking counter and leave it there for a week, it's not gonna rot, it's not gonna mold, it's not gonna do none of that. And you putting that shit in your body every day. So, you know, all of these things about Freeze is unattractive to most of these, right? And then Freeze go to the gym all the time. Damn, Freeze gonna want me to get in the gym too. I don't want to work out. F that. I ain't trying to be in pain. I ain't trying to, you know, that's too much work. I ain't trying to do all that. Then he gonna want to eat healthy. He, you know, can't eat no more cheeseburgers. Can't eat no more hot dogs. Can't eat no more pizza. You know, Freeze gonna try to make me stop doing drugs. Freeze gonna try to make me stop drinking so much alcohol and being an alcoholic. And he gonna want a bitch to work out. Ugh. That. That's why Freeze is unattractive to the majority of these. Because they don't take themselves seriously. Freeze take itself too seriously. But guess what, though? Guess who is attracted to a motherfucker like Freeze? Hoes. Because you know what? A hoe might have some bad habits. A hoe that appreciates a pimp and can recognize a pimp, she might have some bad habits, right? But she don't want to be like that forever. She don't want to be an alcoholic for the rest of her life. And she know if she get with Freeze, Freeze can help her get away from the alcohol. You know what I mean? She been popping pills for 6 months, but she see what the other in the strip club that she work at look like, who been popping pills for years, who been snorting powder for years. This 28 that look like they 68. She don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? And then not only are they 28 looking like they 68, but they don't have anything to show for their time. They still living with their mama. Talking about they don't want no pimp. And they don't need no pimp. You know what I mean? And they on borrowed time, because in a minute they mama gonna get fed up with their ass, and they gonna be at the Night's Inn, or the Days Inn, or the Motel 6, or the Super 8, or the homeless shelter. You know what I mean? So the young hoe that would be attracted to somebody like Freeze, she don't want that for herself. She might dabble with the drugs, but she don't want to be no dope fiend. She might dabble with the liquor, but she don't want to be no alcoholic. You know, she eat bad. She eat a bunch of fast food and processed food. And she tries to stick to a diet. You know what I mean? She might last a week or two. You know what I mean? Eating salads. And she might try to put the red meat down. She ain't eating pork. You know, she not eating bread. She not eating rice and potatoes and shit like that. She eating salads and fruit. And she drinking more water. You know what I mean? But when she go with her hoe partners or her friends or whatever the case may be, everybody eating the bullshit that she trying to stay away from. So naturally, being around them, she's going to pick that shit right back up. And she going to fall off her diet. You know? She might try to stick to a workout here and there, but she just don't have the discipline. She don't have the consistency to do that. But she know if she get with Freeze, she can do that. Freeze is everything that she wants to be. And she understands and realizes that, you know, she not going to get it done on her own. She understands that in order to be the greatest hoe that she can possibly be, she going to have to measure up. She going to have to raise herself to the pimping standards. See, that's what most don't want to do. Most don't want to measure up. They get on dinosaurs and all this old shit and talk shit about how, you know, I don't want nobody with less than me. I don't want nobody that's broker than me. But bitch, you don't even have shit. You got a bunch of bills. And be bragging about 5,000 and 10,000 and all that old type of shit when that's a pimp's monthly expenses. Why you think you doing something? You ain't never stayed nowhere that was $4,000 or $5,000 a month to live. And you can't even imagine yourself producing greater than that. You can't imagine yourself, you know what I mean, making $1 million within a year off your hoeing. Yeah, because you got a lot of that be trying to scam. You got that be trying to sell dogs. You got that try to get all these Airbnbs and all this other type of shit, and that's cool. But if you could be all the hoe that you could be, you wouldn't even waste your time trying to do all this extra shit. It still don't amount to nothing. Because you don't know what the fuck you doing. You just heard that somebody else was doing that shit and it looked easy and you tried it and it still ain't working. That's because you supposed to be a hoe, but you not supposed to be no jack of all trades and got all this other shit. You scamming, you know what I mean? You doing all these scams for motherfuckers and you know, you trying to sell shit on Amazon. You trying to sell Louis purses on Amazon. You trying to sell Frenchies and all this sort of type of shit. You trying to breed Frenchies when you don't know nothing about this shit. You trying to start Airbnbs and all this sort of type of shit, and you don't know nothing about none of this shit. It just sound good to you. It sound like an easy way out so you don't have to hoe. That's why you see these goofy ass getting on here talking about, oh, I got other shit going on. I don't just hoe. I don't just hoe. Bitch, you don't hoe at all. That's not even something in your repertoire. You know what I mean? But if you mastered hoeing, if you were to master hoeing, you know what I mean, and get to a point where you could check $1 million within a year, you wouldn't even be thinking about doing all that other shit. Hoes that want to be greater, that don't want to be dope fiends, that don't want to eat bad and get fat sitting in the end call. You know what I mean? That don't want to be alcoholics, that don't want to be bums, that want to be greater, that want to learn how to be a better woman, that want to learn how to touch more money, that want to learn the art of breaking on a trick. They want to, you know, learn the art of being in pocket. A lot of you bitches don't even have a concept of what that is, staying in pocket. But, you know, hoes that want to be better hoes, they want pimping in their life. You know what I mean? So I say that to say, yeah, 95% of the bitches in the game that's selling, you know, are turned off by the idea with somebody like Freeze. You know, Freeze is like good enough to admire, but not good enough to acquire. You know what I mean? Because bitches might be physically attracted to Freeze. They see the way Freeze is built. They see the way Freeze look. And they just want to have a good time with Freeze. You know what I mean? Because that trick that they calling daddy, you know what I mean, that flew they motherfucking ass out, he don't look like Freeze. He don't go hard like Freeze. And he don't even sound and talk like Freeze. And he a dope fiend. And he an alcoholic. And he lazy. And he's stupid. He's just chosen because he had a good situation and said, let me fly you out. But you know what I mean? He not funny like Freeze. He don't look like Freeze. He don't have game like Freeze. So she want to Freeze. But she ain't gonna even waste her time trying to get at Freeze because she know Freeze is a pimp. And he ain't gonna play with her. Freeze ain't gonna fly her out nowhere. So it's like, damn. He good enough to admire, but not good enough to acquire. Dig this.
Yeah.
I've been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Hey, yeah, where you been?